On the variety show, the award-winning actor was asked why he suddenly showed up. He glanced, intentionally or unintentionally, in my direction. Someone confessed to me and then ghosted me. I'm here to get an explanation. The popular starlet, who had just asked me to fake a lesbian relationship with her and got rejected, instantly looked at him affectionately. I was young and foolish back then and let down the person I truly liked. The live comments were going wild with shipping them. The actor, however, sneered, trying to ride my coattails shows your ambition, but becoming my rival in love is a death wish. Renowned actor Tim, who supposedly never participates in variety shows, suddenly joined a dating show. To create buzz, someone asked him at the very beginning why he made an exception. Tim's gaze swept over us female guests, to get an explanation. Hearing this, a popular influencer, Lily, who had just been trying to pair up with me for a fake lesbian storyline, immediately let go of my hand. Faced with a topic that naturally attracts attention, the director's eyes lit up and he continued, "So, does that mean you already have someone in mind you'd like to date?" Tim nodded. The live comments were already wildly guessing who this person Tim was about to pursue intensely could be. He hasn't been on a variety show in 10 years since his debut. Turns out he was planning something big. Alright, single since his debut until now, and the moment there's any news, he's already looking for commitment. He's really something. I'm just curious who it is. Lily or Sophia? It could also be that influencer next to them. What was her name? Emily? Being so direct right from the start, I like it. Wait, get an explanation means he was loved and left? Everyone's attention was focused on Tim. The rest, who weren't interested in him, were secretly guessing who he was talking about. Taking advantage of the fact that no one was paying attention to me, I scrolled through X for a bit. Everyone was talking about this. Someone even started a poll. I was in first place. Lily was second. That Emily was last. I pouted and switched to my burner account to vote for each of them. No matter who the real leading lady was, they weren't going to use me as a scapegoat. While I was slacking off on my phone, someone was already asking the female guests how they felt about this. Lily blushed and smiled shyly. I think it's pretty cool. As she said this, she stared at Tim with deep affection. Even a blind person could see she was actively claiming it was her. I looked at the expressionless Tim across from me and grumbled to myself. He's already planning to demand an explanation, yet he's still acting all mysterious here. Does he want to randomly pick someone based on online poll results? And he's even going on a variety show to ask for an explanation. He doesn't at all resemble the reserved guy he was when I was chasing him, the kind you couldn't get a word out of even if you tried. Although I really don't want to recall this. But I have to admit, I did pursue Tim. It just wasn't successful. At that time, I attended a charity gala with him. According to the organizer's arrangement, I sat next to him. Tim's look that day was arguably the best in the entire venue. I was stunned, it was love at first sight. After the event, I dug out Tim's WhatsApp from my contacts and started a week-long campaign of showering him with attention. When I saw on X that he got injured while filming, I immediately sent him a caring message. Then Tim sent me back a thank you emoji. Hearing that his new movie had wrapped, I immediately sent flowers to celebrate. He didn't even send me a single word in reply. Seeing his birthday was coming up, I scoured all of Tim's recent X posts. I got him a gift. Perhaps it was something he really liked. Tim finally typed a reply, "Thank you, I really love it." It was still followed by an emoji. I thought by this point, we were pretty much familiar with each other. I was planning to pursue him a little more and then officially confess. Who knew that just one night later, Tim stopped replying to my messages. The screen was filled with messages I had sent. My heart shattered into a million pieces right then. Before I started chasing him, I did a thorough background check on Tim. I even found out his MBTI type. The analysis said that people with his personality type are very proactive if they like someone. If they don't like someone, they'll deliberately not reply to messages. The more I thought about it, the sadder I got. almost bursting into tears on set. Although he did reply to my messages, those 1 or 2 replies were worse than no reply at all. It would have saved me the data to even see his thank you. All my efforts and time over the past week or so were completely wasted. I made a swift decision and decisively pulled back. I blocked all of Tim's social media accounts. My motto was basically out of sight, out of mind. After blocking him, I was immersed in sadness for a long time and couldn't pull myself out. Even the director said my crying scene that day was the peak of my acting skills. Because of this. Later, every time I saw Tim at events, my feelings were very complicated. But it wasn't long after that incident. Tim had an event outfit that was widely mocked. Suddenly, I didn't feel so bad anymore. As time went on, I got over it. Who would have thought that seeing him again, he'd actually be on a dating show demanding commitment from someone else? Jerk. My thoughts were pulled back by Lily. She saw that neither I nor Emily had spoken. She took the initiative to speak again. Actually, I originally wanted to focus on my career, so that's why I chose to avoid it at the time. But I feel that if you truly meet someone who can make you happy for a lifetime, you can also change your life plans, and not miss out on someone who is good to you. As soon as she finished speaking, I immediately applauded. The camera immediately moved to my face. I raised an eyebrow and glanced proudly at Lily. This woman was just trying every trick in the book to get me to fake a lesbian relationship with her for publicity. How long has it been? How long? Tim just said he was here for an explanation, and she immediately let go of my hand. Stealing her spotlight for a moment isn't too much, right? The live comments were already exploding because of Lily's active admission. See? You all see that? I told you it was Lily. The top actor and the popular starlet, they look perfect together. I hate Tim. The lesbian CP was about to happen, and he suddenly barges in, damn it. I think you guys shouldn't be so quick to believe it. Lily is such a clout chaser, haven't you seen that the main person involved hasn't even said anything? Mainly, look at how proactive Lily is. Why would he need to chase her down for an explanation? Anyway, I don't think it's her. Seeing that the live comments were all discussing her, Lily was so excited she was practically glowing. I was just pouting. Suddenly, a microphone was thrust in my face. They asked me what I thought about Tim demanding an explanation. I looked up at him and said in a very tactful way, I think it's quite unique. In other words, crazy. Emily didn't even consider it could be about her. Faced with the question, she was silent for a few seconds, then said, I think it's not very polite. It's better to communicate in advance. I almost couldn't stop myself from laughing out loud. There were 3 female guests in total, and 2 had given normal responses. Therefore, everyone naturally assumed the person Tim intended to pursue was Lily. Process of elimination is right, but I really don't think Lily is the type who needs someone to chase her onto a dating show for an explanation. Agreed. With Tim's existing fame, she could move into his house with her dowry overnight. It really doesn't feel right, but Sophia and Emily seem even less likely. Not really, I think it fits. One subtly calls him crazy, the other thinks he's rude. Isn't that the type the overbearing CEO in novels who takes what he wants likes? Yes, based on my years of reading experience, the one he likes should be the one who called him crazy. Wait, how did this get linked to me? My calling him crazy wasn't because I'm the destined female lead. It was purely because I failed to woo him and was using the opportunity to answer the question to vent my personal frustrations. However, with Lily around, there was no need for me to speak up and defend myself. Because she couldn't stand everyone's attention not being on her. So she spoke again. I really wasn't mature enough before, unable to balance work and life. If I had been clearer sooner, there wouldn't have been any regrets. I watched in amazement. No wonder this girl could become a popular influencer. Her ability to create topics was simply amazing. After receiving admiring glances from me and Emily, Lily proudly puffed out her chest and immediately decided to ride this wave of popularity. She looked at Tim and called out to him emotionally, "Tim." Tim looked at her, his eyes a little dazed. It seemed like he had just snapped out of a daydream. Seeing Tim's gaze fall on her, Lily launched her final attack. "I want to tell you, I'm willing." Tim finally understood the situation. He glanced coldly at Lily, about to speak. But I exploded. "Lily, you just said you wanted to fake a lesbian relationship with me." As soon as these words came out, Tim sneered at Lily, "Love rival?" The live comments instantly boiled over. See? I guessed right, he was talking about Sophia. Only kids make choices, my girl Sophia wants them all. Exactly, Sophia should strictly enforce monogamy. One man and one woman fighting over one woman, I like it. Emily, don't just stand there. I think a husband, a wife, and a concubine isn't out of the question either. Lily finally snapped back to reality. After glancing at the live comments, she decisively changed her strategy. She affectionately linked her arm with mine. "Oh, I was just kidding earlier. I only want to be with you." I snorted coldly and pulled her hand away. The thought of her staring at Tim with shining eyes made me angry. What does that mean? She thinks I'm not as popular as Tim? Damn it. Adding old grudges to new ones, my gaze towards Tim became increasingly unfriendly. Even during the intermission, I didn't give Tim or Lily a single glance. I just squatted off to the side by myself, playing on my phone. While no one was paying attention, Tim walked over to me, seemingly unintentionally. I looked up at him, then decisively turned my back and continued playing. But Tim, this guy, just didn't get the hint. I was clearly showing I didn't want to talk to him, but he insisted on turning to face me. After squatting on the ground and spinning clockwise in a circle, my hand slipped, and my game character died completely. I couldn't take it anymore. "What the hell do you want?" Tim was stunned by my shout. "I want to ask you why you blocked me." He already came on a variety show to demand an explanation from me, and he's still playing dumb? What was he doing when he didn't reply to my messages back then? I suppressed my anger and sneered. "I don't want people who don't reply to messages in my contact list. Is that a problem?" Tim explained somewhat eagerly. "I wasn't not replying. I just..." Halfway through his sentence, Lily trotted over, urging us to go back to recording. Seeing me and Tim squatting face to face, she was stunned. "What are you guys doing?" With this interruption, I had no interest in listening to Tim make up excuses anymore. I stood up to go back to the sofa. But because I had been squatting for too long, my legs were numb. This made me walk as if I had been electrocuted. Tim wanted to get up and help me, but he didn't succeed. He squatted there for a long time, recovering. By the time he could walk normally, Lily had already helped me walk quite a distance. Seeing he hadn't caught up, Lily asked me in a low voice, "What's going on with you two?" There was no one else around, so I just spilled the beans. I used to have a crush on him, he ignored me, so I blocked him. Seeing that the situation wasn't what she had imagined, Lily let out a disappointed ah. She secretly glanced at Tim, who wasn't far away, but he said he came to get an explanation from you, right? Is there some misunderstanding between you two? Do you still like him? I nodded, then shook my head. Maybe not. Lily frowned and thought for a long time, but still didn't understand what I meant. I sighed. It's just not the same feeling as before, you know? Strictly speaking, I probably still liked him. Because my initial attraction to Tim was based on his looks. Seeing him again this time, I was still immediately drawn to his face. But unlike before, as soon as I saw his face, I remembered my tragic unrequited love. Then I forced myself not to stare at him anymore. Lily stroked her chin, the feeling back then. Just as I was about to describe it to her in detail, Tim walked past us quickly. Afraid he might hear, Lily immediately changed the subject. "Let's not worry about feelings for now. Since you're not sure if you like him or not, can I ride your coattails for some popularity?" I just thought of a really good idea. Under her expectant gaze, I had no choice but to nod. Lily made a peace sign. Yes. Saved another marketing expense. It wasn't until the recording started again that I found out what Lily's plan was. She actually adopted the suggestion from the live comments and decided to compete with Tim. Specifically, when Tim sat next to me, she insisted on sitting next to me too. I was squeezed between them like the filling in a sandwich cookie. If I turned my head, I could see their eyes meeting in mid-air, sparks flying, smoke filling the air. My scalp tingled, and I quickly escaped to sit next to Emily. But those two had absolutely no intention of calling a truce. I had just reached out when Lily, quick as lightning, handed me water. Before she could even look smug, Tim also handed me a bottle of water, with the cap already unscrewed. Not to be outdone, Lily pulled out a tissue and was about to wipe my mouth. I urgently called out, "Wait a minute." She blinked obediently. "Baby, what is it?" I glanced at Lily's partner sitting nearby and lowered my voice. "Your partner is still sitting over there. Aren't you going to pay attention to him?" The following games all required pairs. Lily kept vying for attention with Tim. What was her partner supposed to do? She waved her hand dismissively and leaned in to whisper, "It's fine, he was just exposed for being in a relationship. He's quitting the show this afternoon." I was stunned. Huh? When did this happen? Afraid I wouldn't believe her, Lily took out her phone and showed me the trending topics. Sure enough, the 6th trending topic was evidence of this male guest's relationship. Real-time updates were all expressing sympathy for Lily. Lily herself was happily looking at the discussions about her, this overwhelming popularity. You have no idea how much money I saved on buying trending topics. And our lesbian CP is also being discussed by a lot of people. I've never had this kind of popularity before. I looked at the director not far away. But if we do this, what if the director doesn't agree? Lily chuckled. With this kind of popularity, the director will definitely agree. Besides, I'm just riding the wave of popularity. I won't delay him from completing his task. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. On the other side, Tim, seeing us whispering, was so angry his back teeth were about to shatter. Realizing that the director had tacitly allowed Lily to create a CP with me, he became even more anxious and directly went to the director to protest. The distance was a bit far, so I couldn't hear clearly. I could only vaguely hear him say, "This won't work. I don't agree. If they create a CP, what about me?" The director signaled him to lower his voice, then said something I couldn't hear. Tim immediately fell silent. He glanced towards the sofa, then turned and went upstairs. When he came back down, I was stunned. Isn't this the exact outfit he was wearing when I fell in love with him at first sight? In the live comments, Tim's fans were already screaming. The black shirt is back for a limited time. I've been thinking, maybe Sophia should just team up with Lily, and leave Tim to me. Bro, I'm not just watching for free. Post more selfies when you have time, I'll help you brainstorm in the comments, I guarantee you'll be able to win Sophia over soon. Damn, this is the kind of show we independent women should be watching. Why is Sophia so restrained? If it were me, I would have kissed him already. I sat bolt upright, trying hard to keep my eyes from glancing towards Tim. Damn it, he looks so handsome in a black shirt. I feel like I'm falling for him all over again. Seeing me deliberately not looking at him, a smile flickered in Tim's eyes, and he sat down across from me, making sure I could definitely see him. Just as I was about to lose control of my eyes, the director, holding a small megaphone, began to announce the rules for this round of the game. Each guest must first make eye contact with other people for 2 minutes. The 2 people with the highest heartbeat index for each other will be grouped together. I immediately understood. No wonder Tim suddenly went upstairs to change his clothes. He clearly knew the activity content in advance, and also heard me tell Lily it's not the same feeling as before. So he replicated the outfit he was wearing when I first initiated a conversation with him. If I'm not mistaken, he even tried to replicate his gaze and way of speaking from back then. He's so scheming. I angrily averted my gaze and, under his expectant look, walked up to Lily. Let's go first. There were 5 guests present. By the time it was Tim's turn, I would definitely be able to control my attraction. He won't succeed. Lily and I put on the devices, and we couldn't stop laughing from the first glance. The director cleared his throat, signaling Lily to seize this opportunity. Lily bit her lip hard, her gaze meeting mine again. She only lasted less than 3 seconds before she burst out laughing. No matter how hard Lily and I tried, we just kept laughing. After laughing for a full 2 minutes, I rubbed my slightly sore cheeks and stood in front of Emily. Our game went relatively smoothly, placing us in the middle range. My heartbeat index with the other male guest was only in the single digits. Lily was different. It was as if her laugh reflex had been triggered, and she would laugh whenever she made eye contact with anyone. Even after finishing the game, when she accidentally made eye contact with the director, she couldn't help but laugh out loud. The live comments were also full of ha 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 ha. Lily is literally me. I can't imagine how much I'd laugh if I played this game with my friends. She must have actually had her funny bone hit ha ha ha. She can even laugh at the director's super dark face. The director's speechless expression doesn't look fake. For the first time, I didn't see Lily racking her brains to chase clout, and I actually think she's a bit cute. Found the next game to play with my friends. With my friend's low laugh threshold, I'll definitely win. I took a deep breath and reluctantly walked up to Tim. As soon as I looked up and met Tim's gaze, the device he was wearing emitted a sharp alarm sound. My device quickly followed suit. Lily exclaimed from the side, "Only 30 seconds, you too." Tim looked a little smug, "Sorry, that was a bit too fast." The live comments were going crazy. "I told you they were a match made in heaven. As we all know, eyes can't lie. Tim and Sophia are real. Tim, you sly dog, still saying sorry, you're probably blooming with joy inside. Stop struggling, get married now." Tim saw the live comments and the corners of his mouth lifted slightly. He looked even more handsome. I glared at him fiercely. Trying to seduce me, shameless. We were grouped together without any suspense. The director's gaze wandered between me and Tim, nodding with satisfaction. Then, he began to announce the next game rule. "Next, please use WhatsApp to communicate your date locations." I gritted my teeth. At this point, what didn't I understand? This was also Tim's trick. Because I still hadn't unblocked him, he bribed the director, using this method to force me to comply. Seeing me glare at him, Tim explained with an innocent face, "These are the rules set by the director, it has nothing to do with me." The director chimed in at the right moment, "Guests, please complete this step as soon as possible to facilitate the subsequent tasks." I had no choice but to unblock Tim. Tim typed furiously, not even bothering to look up. A minute later, a continuous stream of message notification sounds began. "Tim, I really wasn't ignoring you back then. That time it was because I was filming in the mountains, there was no signal. I thought I sent it, but only realized when I had internet that it didn't go through. I was going to resend it to you, but who knew you had blocked me? I knew you were coming on this dating show, it took a lot of effort for me to join midway." Tim was so focused on frantically sending messages that he didn't notice the director secretly peeking at his phone screen. When I looked up, I happened to meet his eyes. The director jumped in fright and cleared his throat unnaturally. "This segment is for everyone to share their date locations. Certain guests, please refrain from doing things unrelated to the activity." Tim acted as if he hadn't heard. The next second, the camera operator's lens seemingly unintentionally landed on Tim's screen. The entire screen of green message bubbles was thus seen by the entire online audience. The live comments started posting cringy quotes on Tim's behalf. "Tim, my heart is broken into a QR code, but if you scan it, it still says I love you." "Tim, so what if she read my message and didn't reply? Why doesn't she do that to others? It means I'm in her heart." "Tim, how can I live without you?" "Tim, babe, the weather's getting hotter and hotter. Without your cold shoulder, I really don't know what to do." "Tim, I know you didn't mean to not reply to my message, you were just taking your time." Seeing these live comments, I subconsciously lunged over and pressed Tim's phone screen off. Damn it, if netizens saw these things, How would I live for the rest of my life? Tim looked at my action and whispered, I haven't finished sending. I warily looked left and right, lowering my voice to an extreme. I know what you're going to say. I misunderstood you. I won't block you again in the future. Tim continued, and also. I shushed him, okay. Tim said with a hint of shyness, okay. I thought this farce would end here. Who knew that as soon as I got up, Tim opened WhatsApp again. I pressed his hand. What are you doing now? Tim pulled his hand away, typing as he answered, I'm not messaging you, don't worry. I relaxed. Oh, he's not messaging me. Then it's fine. Just as I was about to get up and leave, Lily walked over holding her phone and tattled on him to me. Look at him, he actually declared war on me, provoking me. Seeing the words on the screen clearly, I glanced speechlessly at Tim. The message he sent to Lily was, riding my coattails makes you arrogant, but being my love rival means your life is in danger. After receiving my gaze, Tim explained, it was one thing when she was initially riding my coattails, but now she's fighting with me for you everywhere, so I just. Without giving me a chance to speak, he added, but it's okay now, you won't ignore me anymore, so I won't hold it against her. Saying that, he asked, you won't go back on your word, right? To end this farce as soon as possible, I said decisively, no. The smile on Tim's face grew even brighter. After discussing the date location, Emily and her partner headed to the pottery studio. As for Lily, because her partner quit the show, and her heartbeat index with me was the highest among all the guests. Picking the best of a bad bunch. She was assigned to my group with Tim. Tim was really unhappy with this result. But as soon as I said that if he wasn't willing, he could stay home and wait for us, he immediately put on a smile. Not at all, I think this arrangement is great. Lily pouted. The dating activity for the three of us was a compatibility challenge. It involved the two of them choosing a hair color for me based on their understanding of me. The person who accurately guessed my preference would win a chance for a solo date in the next round. Although I didn't find it very interesting, I couldn't dampen Lily and Tim's high spirits. Tim even boasted, during the time she ignored me, I thoroughly researched her preferences. You're definitely going to lose. Lily wasn't annoyed either, smiling as she said, oh, well then, good luck. The two of them were frantically looking through color swatches on one side, while I sat on the other, leisurely binge-watching a drama. After watching 2 episodes, Lily was the first to raise her hand. I've chosen. Tim quickly followed, me too. I leaned over to take a look. The colors they chose weren't too different. Plus, both of them were staring intently at me, making it completely impossible for me to judge fairly. In the end, I had no choice but to cover the names of the colors they chose and shuffle them. Then I picked one based on intuition. The moment the name was revealed, the smile on Tim's face froze. Lily chuckled, sorry, I won. Tim was instantly enveloped in dejection. Throughout the subsequent activities, his spirits remained low. Lily scrolled through the live comments and found that everyone was feeling sorry for Tim. There was basically no buzz for her to latch onto. So she looked at the busy and dejected Tim, then at me with my eyes glued to Tim. She decisively changed her clout-chasing strategy. That is, to be the bodyguard of my love for Tim. Having made her decision, she immediately went to inform Tim. Tim, however, wasn't as happy as expected. His eyes were slightly red, and he said stubbornly, I know I didn't understand her well enough this time, you don't need to come and laugh at me. Lily silently retreated to my side. Just as we were about to go home, Tim suddenly said he had something to do and would go separately from us. 2 hours later, when we saw him again, his hair color had changed to the one I had just picked. He walked up to me and apologized. I didn't understand you enough, I'm sorry. I'll work hard, can you? He looked at me cautiously, give me another chance? I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Lily already said she won't compete with you, you still want a chance? From now on, he would be my only partner. There was no need to compete with anyone else. Tim, however, shook his head, that's different. What if she wakes up tomorrow and regrets it, what will I do? I suppressed a laugh. Then what do you want to do? Tim thought for a moment. I haven't thought of a solution yet. Wait for me to think about it tonight. Because of this, Tim didn't even come down for dinner. Early the next morning, he appeared before us, refreshed and energetic, to introduce the newly joined guest. But before he could speak, Lily shrieked, "Chris!" Tim leaned over and explained to me. I asked, "Lily's favorite is Chris. With him around, she definitely won't have time to fight with me." I was speechless. Why is he so scheming? Sure enough, with Chris around, Lily didn't give me a single glance. The matter of being my and Tim's love bodyguard was completely thrown to the back of her mind. I furiously sent her a message condemning her. "Lily, you cold, heartless person, I will never forgive you. Isn't this basically like my best friend choosing her crush over me when I like him too?" After praising Chris's amazing cooking skills, Lily finally managed to spare a moment to reply to my message. "Babe, I haven't forgotten about being your love bodyguard, just you wait." That night, Tim, wrapped only in a towel, knocked on my hotel room door. He nervously looked left and right. After confirming there was no one around and no cameras, he spoke with a shy face. "The water in my room is off. Can I borrow your bathroom?" My gaze fell on his abs, and my ears suddenly turned red. Even my speech became a little slurred. Sure, go ahead." Tim slipped into the bathroom. The bathroom here had a frosted glass door, and since the room wasn't large, I could vaguely see Tim's figure no matter where I sat. Just as I was trying to distract myself by playing on my phone, Tim opened the door a crack, revealing only his head. My towel fell on the floor. "Can you get me another one?" I put down my phone, turned my head, took a deep breath, and then picked up a towel and walked towards the bathroom. I couldn't pass the towel through, so Tim had to open the door wider. Just like that, I unexpectedly saw water droplets slide down his shoulder, across his chest, and then his abs. My nose suddenly felt warm, and 2 streams of blood flowed out. Tim immediately panicked. "You're having a nosebleed." I grabbed a nearby tissue and stuffed it up my nose, holding out a stop hand. "You wash yours, don't come over." I don't have that kind of self-control. After calming myself down with my back to the bathroom for a long time, a message from Lily came through. She eagerly asked me, "How was it? How was it? Am I a qualified bodyguard?" I instantly understood. "You did this?" I was just wondering how Tim's room could have no water for no reason. For a split second at first, I even suspected Tim did it on purpose. Lily sent a smug emoji. "Just say if it was good or not." I've never met anyone as thoughtful as myself. I glanced at the bathroom and typed furiously. "You could have at least given me some mental preparation. I just glanced at him and got a nosebleed." "Lily, that good looking? Then you have to thank me." Seize the opportunity. I wanted to say something else, but Tim had already come out of the bathroom. He walked up to me, confirmed I was okay, and breathed a sigh of relief. "Are you feeling overheated or something?" Asking the obvious. I snorted coldly. "Let me ask you, why didn't you go borrow Chris's bathroom?" Chris's room was clearly closer to his. If it wasn't intentional, why would he go the long way around? Sure enough, Tim struggled internally for a few seconds before admitting, "I didn't want Chris to see." I leaned back on the sofa. "You wanted me to see?" Tim nodded, blushing. My rationality was starting to crumble again. Clearing my throat twice, I feigned seriousness. "Just look." Tim's face turned even redder. After a long pause, as if making a great sacrifice, he said, "If you want to do something else, that's fine too." I started blushing too. After a lot of mental preparation, I tried to make my expression look natural. "So, kissing is okay too?" A handsome man fresh from a shower is even more tempting than Tim in a black shirt. Tim nodded vigorously. "Yes, yes." He agreed too quickly, which made me feel embarrassed instead. Tim waited for a long time without seeing my next move and urged, "Are you going to kiss me or not?" I mustered up my courage and pushed him down directly. "What's the rush?" When I woke up and went downstairs the next day, I saw Tim proudly showing off to Chris. "What you said was completely wrong. Sophia is only special to me." You apologize to her, and apologize to me too. Chris, extremely annoyed, quickly made an excuse to get Tim away from him. You should go make breakfast, don't let your Sophia get hungry. Reminded by this, Tim got up and left. Watching him walk away, Chris finally came over to apologize to me. I'm sorry, Sophia. His apology came out of nowhere, and my heart skipped a beat. Chris looked a little embarrassed. I heard from Lily, the misunderstanding between you two might have originated from me. A question mark slowly appeared on my face. Chris continued, he had never been in a relationship before. When you were pursuing him, he came to me for analysis. And then I said. He glanced at me cautiously. I said it was just normal friendly concern. So Tim believed it and was very sad. But after one night, he convinced himself. He was going to pursue me back. But before he could make a move, he went to the mountains to film. By the time he came out, I had already blocked him. Chris clasped his hands together. I'm sorry, I'm guilty. He was still apologizing profusely when Tim came out of the kitchen. Seeing Chris's expression, he asked what was wrong. Chris was feeling guilty now. How could he dare to face him? He stammered and couldn't explain clearly. Not only that, but in the subsequent filming, he was extremely nice to Tim. So nice that even Tim felt a little uncomfortable. He secretly asked me, I think Chris is acting weird. The way he looks at me. Tim seemed to find it hard to say. He doesn't have a crush on me, does he? I almost couldn't hold back my laughter. Just then, Chris walked over from a distance. Tim immediately backed away from him. He said with a serious face, Chris, although we're good friends, I don't have any other feelings for you. I will only love Sophia for the rest of my life. So you shouldn't have any other ideas about me either. Chris frowned and slowly uttered 3 words. Are you crazy? He walked towards Tim, and Tim, looking like he was facing a great enemy, directly retreated 2 steps. I was trying so hard not to laugh that my face turned red. Finally, I couldn't watch anymore and explained things clearly to Tim. Tim looked at Chris in disbelief. I trusted you so much, you were just talking nonsense? Chris. You. Seeing that things were not looking good, Chris quickly fled the scene. Watching him leave, Tim immediately became aggrieved. You made us miss so much time. I'm just curious who it is, Lily or Sophia. He rambled on, complaining about Chris. I leaned over and kissed him. It's not too late now. Tim immediately kissed me back. All right, for your sake, I'll reluctantly forgive him. To express his apologies, Chris arranged a fireworks show for us. Lily stood far away with him, responsible for taking pictures of me and Tim. Emily and her partner stood on the other side, glancing our way from time to time. Half an hour later, the photos Lily took appeared on my and Tim's X accounts. Tim got my explanation.